So now we're left here with this empty elevator shaft. Wait, what's this? Huh, someone blew a hole in the wall, so now we can mess around with the guts of this thing. Okay, is there anything else in here? Another hole. This one exposes 2 interlocking gears. Okay. And then... that one only has 2 settings. That's kind of boring. Okay, so this one you can either rotate the whole thing or just this little piece right here. And then this is the first one we looked at. Well, if you were paying attention while I was reading Shadyblog's journal, you might know a little more about this. He wrote an entry about this, and he drew some pictures in here too. Yeah, right here. And on the previous page too, I think. Yeah. And he also talks about this in the description. He says he was trying to reprogram a scanning device. Now, we don't know what that is yet, but he says in order to do so, he had to borrow pieces from somewhere else in the Tusk. So I assume he's talking about this elevator, and that would explain why it doesn't work right now. But he does imply that you can still get it to work if you rearrange the remaining parts in a very specific way. So let's go ahead and try to do that. Let's start with this one, because it's the one we're facing. We got 3 weights, and the left one needs to be set just below the other 2 weights. Well, there are 3 settings, so let's look at the picture again. If you look closely, you can see that there's a little gap between the weights and their respective pulleys. But when you look at this, you can see that on the top setting, the weight is even with the pulley, so that's wrong. Alright, now the one on the right needs to be set even with that, and the one on the left needs to be set one lower. Alright, so that one's done. So let's go on to the next one. The interlocking gears, which is right here. And according to this diagram, the upper gear has a missing tooth, and the gap needs to be aligned with a tooth on the lower gear. Maybe Shadyblog pulled that tooth out. Yeah, there's the gap. Actually, it looks like it was designed that way. That looks good enough. Let's go into the next one. This is the one with just 2 settings, so we're probably supposed to just change it from its original setting. And according to the picture, it needs to be placed along that row of teeth instead of the small gears, so I was right. There we go. Next one. I think it's on the next page. Yeah, here we go. Here's an overhead view of this thing. And we're most likely standing right here. You can see that the little things that we can spin have these lines on there. And according to this, the one that's facing us needs to point inward, while the other 2 need to face outward. Well, this one's going to be put in the back, so the lines on it need to be pointing outward. And this is the other one in the back. And the third one needs to face inward. Alright, so it looks like we're done here. And that's the last one, so the elevator should be working now. What a dumb ladder. Doesn't even lead all the way out of the pit. Gotta climb out of here using my stomach. Alright, so let's see if the elevator does anything different now. There we go. You can see those clamps are now rotating the elevator around to face toward the inner door. So now the elevator is in full operation. Nice. Wait a second. I probably should have boarded the elevator before doing that. Oops. I apologize for the minor inconvenience. Okay, here we go. I have no feet. Well, it looks like we were just barely too late, because Savidro just got away. But at least now we have access to this giant red room, which seems to be the central hub of the island. And I figure this room must be air-conditioned, because otherwise the sun would make it really hot in here. And this wooden shell is now closed. It was open when Savidro was here. Well, I figure, because this is the one we saw close when he left. And now we can see there are actually 3 of these in the room. Oh, there's paper on the floor. Oh, it's a missing part of Savidro's journal. Cirrus and Akinar. The walls run red with steam and strangling branches. I see their bloated faces laughing at everything. I remember how they lied. I remember what they did. They brought me here to die. I followed them. The lattice roots were black from too much overgrowth. Puffer spores floated up in the hot steam and burst. No one was there to guide the spores to the branches. No one was waiting to perform the ritual weaves. The fighting had torn my people apart. They didn't care. They didn't care. They wanted Narayan to die. Well, now we know a little more about why he's so hell-bent on revenge. Oh, here's that. If you look right here, here's that little doohickey Savidro put that crumpled piece of paper on to get that football to rise out of the pit. And you know what? This is probably that scanning device he was talking about in his journal. That's probably what that is. And then there's also this button right here.
My sons, I promise to teach you the secrets of my ages. This world is the first step on your journey. Search the island, and you'll find 3 linking books. Each connects to an age in which you must fulfill.
Hello, Atris. Been a long time. Sorry I'm not there to greet you in person, but I just didn't think it would be wise, considering how long I've been stuck here. Trapped in these lesson ages by 2 very greedy little boys. Your sons, Atris. Cirrus and Akinar. Of course, they're not so little anymore, not so innocent. I thought a lot about innocence these last few years and what happens when it gets lost. Worried about relation? I have it. Worried about friends, relatives, people you can't get back. I know just how you feel. But if you want to do something about it, you're gonna have to open this device. And there's just one problem. I've changed the 3 symbols that do that. So if you want to reclaim relation, you're gonna have to take your own class. Find the 3 symbols, Atris. And don't keep me waiting forever.